Welcome back to Mac Talks Football, and this is the review video for my predictions that I made for Bundesliga match day 14. It was quite an interesting weekend. A couple of shocking results that has altered the table and has made the league quite interesting, even more exciting, like quite wide open. So that is gonna have an impact on my predictions. So let's see how many of my predictions were correct and how many I messed up completely. 1 point if the entire prediction along with the scoreline is correct, and half a point if the prediction is correct but the scoreline is not correct. So let's go ahead and start the first game. It was Freiburg versus Wolfsburg. I went for a 2-1 win for Wolfsburg, but it ended up being a 3-2 win for Freiburg. I expected a good game of football. I said that there were going to be goals in this game. I said it was going to be quite close, and the game lived up to my expectations. But it was quite an entertaining game of football. As I said, I expected quite fast paced. Both teams were really going ahead. It was like end to end stuff in that first half. Both teams are creating chances, and I think both the goalkeepers in that first half had quite a good game making. Both had to make quite a couple of good saves to make sure that their teams stay in that game. And it was in a way fair that the goals the first goal came through a set piece. Freiburg get the corner kick, and the ball comes in, and Lucas Kobler heads it in, and it is 1-0 Freiburg. The second half rolls in, and 5 minutes into the second half, Kobler makes it 2-0 with yet another corner. So in open play, they were quite similar, but Freiburg got the upper hand in the set pieces, and 10 minutes later they made sure that they won the points. They scored the third goal, and it becomes 3-0 for Freiburg. And at that point, you are thinking the game is done and dusted. But credit to Wolfsburg, they never really backed down, even despite going 3-0 down. They kept on going, and they scored 2 goals under 8 minutes, like from the 75th minute to 83rd minute. After 75 minutes, it was literally all Wolfsburg. They kept on attacking, and they got 2 goals, and they made Freiburg quite a sweat in the last 10-15 minutes. As I said, they kept on the pressure, and they got the goals, and Freiburg were under the pressure, and they just held on in the last 5 or 10 minutes to make sure that they get the win. And in the end, they were able to get that win. It's an important, huge win for Freiburg. They move up to the fifth in the table, just 2 points behind Frankfurt and Leipzig. So that is a big thing for them, and they are going to make they're going to hope that they can continue this upward trend. Wolfsburg, on the other hand, they have suffered their first defeat in over a month. So it is not that bad for Wolfsburg as well, but they would be quite disappointed that despite being so good, they did not get anything out of this game. Up next, it was Borussia Mönchengladbach versus Holstein Kiel. I went for a 3-0 win for Gladbach. It ended up being a 4-1 win for Gladbach, so I get half a point. The game basically went as I expected. I to Gladbach to dominate that game, and they did. Like they were so good. They got a lead in the first minute of the game, courtesy of Tim Klein. This his 9th goal of the season. He has been an amazing signing for them. And after that, it was still for the entirety of the game, it was Gladbach. They controlled the game. They dictated the play. Holstein Kiel were never in that game. They doubled their leads courtesy of Robin Hack, and then for some out of somewhere, Holstein Kiel go and get that one goal back. It was out of nowhere. Nobody really saw that coming, but it didn't really matter because as I said, Gladbach were too good on that day, and Alexandre Pierre regains their 2 goal advantage just before half time. And in the second half, again, Gladbach controlled the game. They knew that they are going to win. Like, they had a 2 goal advantage. Holstein Kiel didn't really do that much, and Pierre made sure of the goal of the win with his second goal of the game, and Gladbach's fourth, and they ended up winning. Important I mean for Gladbach as they continue to move away from that relegation zone. Holstein Kiel, on the other hand, I mean, it is their 11th defeat of the season, 5th in a row. They are second bottom of the league, and it is not looking good for them at the moment, and it is looking like they are going to go back straight down into the Bundesliga too if things don't change quite quickly. Up next, it was Augsburg versus Bayer Leverkusen. I went for a 2-1 win for Augsburg. It ended up being for Leverkusen. Sorry, and it ended up being a 2-0 win for Bayer Leverkusen. I thought Augsburg were are gonna give a bit of a fight to Leverkusen, but they really did not. Leverkusen came in this game on a 6-game winning streak, and they played with such confidence. And the way that they played, Augsburg couldn't really handle them. They moved their fast-paced style of football, quick passes. They were were just really good Leverkusen on that day, and unfortunately for Augsburg, they couldn't really contain them. They get the lead within inside 15 minutes, and they double their lead around the 40-minute mark, courtesy of Florian Wirtz. His sixth goal of the season. He was amazing. For me, he was the man of the match that day. He was sensational and totally deserved that goal. They win that game and they move to second, just 4 points behind Bayern Munich, and they are right back in that title race. And they would be really happy because of how the how things went. Augsburg, on the other hand, their sixth defeat of the season, languishing on the 13th in the table. And I will be very honest, they are still in the title in the relegation fight. For me, they are still not safe, and they really need to get a couple of good results to get away from there. Otherwise, it is not looking not looking that good for them at the moment. Then it was Union Berlin versus Bochum. I went for a 1-1 draw. It ended up being a 1-1 draw, so I get the one full point. I said in the prediction video that both these teams are in such a bad form that I really don't see any of them winning in this game, and both of them are two of the worst scoring sides in Bundesliga this season. And again, this showed in that game, like, it was not a really good game of football. Bochum are winless still now, and they it kept getting worse for them. Yeah, they were down to 10 men inside 13 minutes. Kiyo Miyoyashi gets sent off. I mean, what a horrendous tackle that was that he made. Like, I really couldn't understand what he was trying to do there. But somehow, some way, luck was on Bochum's side during that time, and they go ahead and they surprise everybody, taking the lead courtesy of Ibrahim Sissoko, his first goal of the season. But that didn't last that much, as UB came back and they equalized under within 5 minutes of them going behind. And the first half was quite entertaining, but second half, it was I think it was a really good game, quite a good game in terms that UB played that game on a really high tempo. They created chance after chance, and I would give a lot of credit to Bochum's defense, that they did not buckle down. It was a relentless pressure from Union Berlin, but Bochum made sure that they don't they don't let them pass through, and they don't concede the second goal. It ended up as a 1-1 draw. Both teams are getting a single point, and both of them ending their 3-game losing a streak, because as I said, they were not in a good form coming to this game. UB are 13th in the table, but I'll be very honest with you, I still consider them in the relegation zone. Just like I told about Augsburg, I don't think they are safe, and they need to do something very quickly. Bochum, on the other hand, I mean, they are rock bottom in the table, winless after 14 games in Bundesliga. And if I'm being very honest with you, they are waiting for a Christmas miracle at the moment, because I just don't see them staying in Bundesliga next season, because they are terrible at the moment. Then it was Mainz versus Bayern Munich. I went for a 2-all draw. I expected Bayern Munich to draw points. It ended up being a 2-1 win for Mainz. So it became like even worse for Bayern than I would have expected. It was a really good game of football. Like you expected that it was going to be a good game of football. It was Bayern who started the game on front foot. Taking the game to Mainz, trying to put them under the pressure, but they were not really able to convert their chances. And Mainz slowly grew into the game, and they themselves, it became a really good game after the first 20 minutes, if I'm being very honest with you, because that's when Mainz started to get into the game. They started creating the chances, and they go ahead and they punish Bayern for not converting their chances. They take the lead. It becomes 1-0. We go into the second half, and it is again Mainz were a lot better in that second half. They basically controlled the second half, and they doubled their lead around the 60-minute mark. Lee Ji-sung with his second goal of the game. And if I'm being very honest with you, I don't think like Bayern were that good. I think they were quite poor in that second half, but they really couldn't cope with the way that Mainz were playing, and Mainz were like looking like the only team who would have gone ahead to and score another goal in that second half. They got one goal back at the 87th minute mark, courtesy of Leroy Sané, and that was their first shot on goal. That shows how bad they were, if I'm being very honest with you. They lose that game, their first defeat of the season, and the lead is cut down to just 4 points for Bayer Leverkusen. And not only that, with Leipzig winning, Frankfurt and Leipzig are also like 6 points behind them. So it is not a good sign for Bayern Munich. Mainz, on the other hand, with this win, they move up to the 7th in the table, and they are eyeing those European places. They really want to get back into Europe, and not only the Conference League or the Europa League. They're looking at the table, they could easily go into those into the Champions League as well. Up next, it was a St. Pauli versus Werder Bremen. I went for a 1-0 win for a St. Pauli. It ended up being a 2-0 win for Bremen, so I don't get any points in that game. It was, I thought it was going to be quite a close game, if I'm being very honest with you, it was not that close of a game. Bremen came into the game. They started the game. They with a lot of confidence. They know that St. Pauli are not, they don't have a good form at home, and they took advantage of that. The way that they played played that game, the way that they moved the ball quite quickly. St. Pauli couldn't really cope with them, and Bremen got rewarded with a great, great set of football. Midway through the half, first half they take the lead, and then they sort of settle down, and St. Pauli tried to get back into the game, but Bremen played with a lot of confidence that whatever St. Pauli were trying to do, it didn't really work for them. We go into the second half, and then Bremen sort of up the tempo again and try to go at St. Pauli, and they went ahead and they scored that second goal as well to basically put the game to bend. St. Pauli, if I'm being very honest with you, I cannot say that they did not try or they did not play that good. It was just that Bremen were a level above them in that game. They suffer another defeat at home, and it is not looking good for them. If I'm being very honest with you, if you are fighting for relegation like they are, they are 15, just a point and a place above those relegation places. You need to make sure you win your home games. But Pauli are a better away side as compared to being a home side, so that is quite baffling for me. Bremen on the other hand side, they moved to ninth. They are level on points with Mainz and Dortmund, and they are really looking for those European places. They know they can sneak in there, and that is basically their target for the rest of the season. Next game was Heidenheim versus Stuttgart. I went for a 3-1 win for Stuttgart. It ended up being a 3-1 win for Stuttgart, and as I expected, it was quite an easy win for Stuttgart. The way they controlled the game, they started brightly. They had majority of the possession. They basically they toyed with Heidenheim that day. I mean, it was not a good look if you were a Heidenheim fan, and they got rewarded because of how of their play. Stuttgart midway through the first half, they take the lead. It becomes 1-0, but Heidenheim against the run of play, they go ahead and they equalize, and it becomes 1-1, but that doesn't really last, because Stuttgart reclaimed their lead just 4 minutes later, just before the stroke, and at the stroke of halftime, it becomes a 2-1. And in the second half, it was basically the same, Heidenheim creating chances, chance after chance. They had majority of the possession. It was like 70 to 30% possession in that game, and around the 60-minute mark, they get a penalty, they convert that, and they basically put the game to bed. And it was an important win for Stuttgart. I mean, they moved to a 6th in the table, and those Champions League places are looking really close for them, and they would really hope to get back into those Champions League places. And it is very tight at the moment, and it can really happen. Freiburg are at 5th, Leipzig and Frankfurt 4th, 3rd, so it is really looking interesting, and Stuttgart are really going to fight for those Champions League places. Heidenheim on the other hand, I mean, 6 defeat in a row, and they are right at the in trenches, if I'm being very honest with you. Too much trouble. Nothing is working out for them in Bundesliga. They are 16 in the table, and if things keep on going like that, I mean, I personally feel sometimes that they might even drop further and directly into that relegation. So they would hope that after this winter break, they have just one game, and then the winter break, they would hope that something comes up their way and they can change their fortunes around. The next game was Hoffenheim versus Borussia Dortmund. I went for a 3-0 win for Dortmund. It ended up being a 1-all draw, so I don't get any point out of it. But it was such a bad game of football. I'll be very honest with you. I mean, I don't know what is going on at Dortmund. It didn't really look like that. It was Dortmund playing that game. They were so bad. Giving away a possession, not creating enough. It was poor. It was a poor game of football. I am not even going to discuss Hoffenheim because it was a Dortmund like that. You expect Dortmund to get the win and play good football, but they were horrendous in that game, if I'm being very honest with you. They somehow got the lead. It became a 1-0 for Dortmund. Second half comes in, and again it was pretty much the same. And if I'm being very honest with you, Hoffenheim played a much better football in that second half as compared to Dortmund, as they wanted to get back into the game, trying to get that equalizer, but Dortmund really did not do. And in the end, again, it's the same problem, giving away silly goals, not defending properly, and not having the awareness to know where the players are. They go ahead and they concede right at the end in the 91st minute, and they drop the points. If I'm being very honest with you, I don't think they deserve to win that game. I think it should have been a draw. I think Hoffenheim deserved something out of that game, and they got it. They are still 14 in the table, Hoffenheim, but it is a very valuable point for them. Dortmund on the other hand, I mean, they dropped to 8th, and it is not really looking on it. Forget fighting for the title. Those Champions League places at the moment, they are also a big doubt. Forget Champions League places also. It looks like the way they are playing, they might not even go into qualify for the Conference League. As Sahi needs to do something quick, and he needs to do something quickly. Otherwise, it could turn out to be a very bad season for Borussia Dortmund. And the last game of the weekend was RB Leipzig versus I think Frankfurt. I went for a 3-2 win for Frankfurt. It ended up being a 2-1 win for Leipzig. I expected a good game of football. I said it would be entertaining game of football. There would be goals in this game, and the game lived up to its expectation. It was a really good game of football. Both teams are really going for it. It was an end-to-end stuff, and it was chances being created at both sides. But it was the home side who took the advantage, who took the initiative. They take the lead courtesy of Benjamin Sheshko, rising high, and the goalkeeper, unfortunately for him, was not able to get to him. He heads the ball in, and it becomes a 1-0. But credit to Frankfurt, they really did not let that goal affect them, and they basically got level like a couple of minutes later. But Mamush's free kick hits the crossbar and goes away. But they really did not have to wait that much longer. Nathaniel Brown 4 minutes later equalizes for them, and it becomes 1-1. We go into the second half, and Leipzig, they started the second half on top with a lot of high tempo. The way that they moved the ball, it was quite good, and Luis Openda makes it a 2-1 from a corner kick, and Leipzig take the lead. And then it was Frankfurt. They tried a lot. They created a couple of good chances where they could have taken the lead, but unfortunately for them, it was not their day to be, and they ended up losing that game. They drop another point, another set of points as they drop to third. While Leipzig, on the other hand, they closed the gap on not only on Frankfurt but on other teams as well. They are now level on points with Frankfurt at fourth, 6 points behind Bayern Munich, both of them, and the title race is at the moment is looking really good. That's it for me in this video. I mean, I got I think 3 points I got out of a possible 10. I'm quite happy, if I'm being very honest with you, because a couple of results threw me away, which I really did not expect to happen. That Bayern one was quite shocking. The Dortmund one was the one that really shocked me, if I'm being very honest with you. So that sort of affected my prediction. But overall, I mean, if you look at my League One's performance, where I got 0, I'm very happy that I at least got 3 in the Bundesliga predictions. Let me know what you guys think of my predictions and the review, and what do you think about the of the weekend's game overall in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 400 subscribers before the end of this year, so please go ahead and subscribe and help the channel out. Until next time, bye bye.